Hello and welcome to this demonstrational video for the Simple Project Tracker. This is the spreadsheet that you'll receive should you purchase it. There are some instructions here, but I'm going to show you what is required, so you don't need to read those right now. This is a link that image is a link to this video. If you are using and you get stuck, you can come back and refer to this video at any time. This is all you really need to fill in. This will be, you just need to check that you got your company name right. We're going to fill that in before we send it to you. You can fill in names of staff. It doesn't really matter where you fill them in. Obviously, they're just going to appear in the order from numbers 1 through to 20. So you can fill in any staff names that you may have working on a project. I've just filled in some names here for now. Just bear in mind, obviously, if you've only got 20 staff or fewer, then you can put them all in here at once. I would suggest obviously filling this in beforehand and saving this after you fill this in as your default template. Because obviously then it means you don't have to fill them in every single time. If you've got different people working on a project and you maybe got 100 staff but only up to 20 working on each project and you need to fill this in each time, then that's fair enough. But essentially if you fill those staff in, you can save the template afterwards. That's all you need to do on the first page. The second one is the project setup sheet. Now I've filled some things in here already, but let me just run through what this is doing. First of all, at the top here, you've got an exclude or include option. What this does is it excludes or includes bank holidays and weekends. So you can either include everything. If you're working for yourself and you're working through bank holidays and weekends and there are no restrictions, then that's fine. Just click it in and it'll use every single day as a day. If you select exclude, then what it does is it excludes any bank holidays or any weekends. You do need to fill the bank holidays in down in this column. So any bank holidays during the course of the project, just fill. So let's just say, for argument's sake, if the 1st of May is a bank holiday and you select it in there, then what it'll do is it will remove the 1st of May. It will show the 1st of May as a bank holiday, and it will not count it. So you just list any bank holidays down here. You can also list any days where you may be closed or the firm you might not be working for some reason. You can put those days down there. Alright, task number. Just give the task a number as you go down, as you add more tasks. You do have up to 60. You can put in 60 tasks. But let's just start. I've just put in a few, so you just number them as you go down. Task name. Give the task a short name, and then a description. You can put a longer description as to what the task entails. And then this is the important thing here, is the number of working days. Now, the number of working days is obviously to complete that task. This is assuming that you need to finish one task before you can start the next. Sometimes you may have tasks running simultaneously. I'll show you what you can do there. But this is assuming that this is one working day after the previous task has in fact ended. So this is just going to tally up those days and tell you how many working days you need to be working on this project. Here you can see they're not working days, which means task 8, 9 and 10 are all going to be due on the same day, because that one's 2 days after that, and then those ones all on the same day. So if you do have 3 or 4 tasks, you think, well, they don't take a full day, you can lump them together and give one of them an assigned number of days and then the other ones just zeros. Just make sure that you'll see later on what I mean by this, but the one excuse me, that you give the number of days, make sure that is the one that's most likely to be completed, because in the next spreadsheet, which I'm going to show you, you're able to eliminate some of these tasks, and if you eliminate some of them, those days fall away. So if they were to eliminate that one, all of a sudden those ones would be on the same date as task 7, and it wouldn't quite work out. So make sure you give the one that they're most likely going to keep as the one with the number of days. If you do want a more elaborate project schedule where you're actually tracking each task and they're running simultaneously by different people and they're all dependent on other people finishing or not finishing, there is another project schedule which you're able to find on in our store, which will accommodate that. But this one's a simple one, as in the title, so each one's just the number of days after the previous task that it's going to take. Once you've filled this one in, as per the other one, you can actually, I would suggest, if you've got a list of tasks that you run through, because I mean everyone's got a process that they work to, and if you don't, you really should get one because it makes things a lot easier. So if you've got all your tasks that you want to fill in, that you want to pre-fill in, and then save this after you've done that This doesn't necessarily need to change. You can have a default thing once you've got the save with all of these with all of these details in, and you're able to edit each job as you go along. I'll show you that in a second. So it makes sense to fill this in first and then save it. Put the entire years with the bank holidays in here, and then the next year put the next year in. I think that, and then save that, and then it doesn't mean you don't actually have to come and update the sheet each time. The other thing that you can do is over here, how many working days before the task due date should it become active. You'll see what that is in a second, but you can select there how many days do you want the task to be active for, because it's going to show as a future task, and then it's going to show as active, and then obviously if you don't complete it in time, it's going to show as overdue. So this will allow you to put in how many days you want it to be active for. Then this is the actual sheet. So you could in fact hide these two by right clicking hide, and then you can go to review and you can say protect workbook and put in a password, and then if you've got giving this to staff, they can't actually open these two sheets, they'll be hidden from them. Just remember that password, because there is no you cannot retrieve that password anyhow. You're going to have to remember it. This is the actual sheet where the project schedule takes place. Now this will all the red squares will automatically populate. All the green ones you need to fill in. So I've already put in a start date, a required end date. So if the client has given you an end date or you've got a target that you're shooting for. This one here, as you can see, it says due to complete on time because it's due to finish on the 20th of June. But I put in 12th of October. If I put in, say, the 22nd of June here, when the client wants it, it still says due to complete on time. But if I've got the 18th of June, it says not due to complete on time. Now that obviously means that your scheduled date, as per these dates down here, overruns the date that the client needs it. So that is something that you immediately need to look at. These little things over here, what they do is they show your tasks, the number of tasks being completed. I'll show you there in a second, and the time. So as long as this left one is more green than the right one, that means that your tasks that you've done are ahead of the time. If the green one starts to go up higher than this green, then what it means is that you're actually a little bit behind on your tasks and you need to catch up. Sometimes, obviously, depending on if there's a long task and it's due the next day and you've done some of it, it only obviously registers being done once you click a completed date. So you might get the time going a little bit ahead. Don't get too worried about that. Rather, just look at these colors down here. I'll show you that in 1 second. Put your client name in over here. Use your client. Just put use your client. You can put your client name or the project name in. You can type that in. All this is saying is this has been set up to exclude weekends and bank holidays. Over no bank holidays have been inputted. So obviously, if you just went to your project setup, if you put some in here, then that would disappear. So that's explaining the heading. Down here, exclude. If you say, for argument's sake, this task number 11 is no longer is not actually required for this project, you can exclude that task and it takes it out. It also adjusts the dates. You can see that's now 14th of June, not the 20th of June, because it's taken out the days required for that task. So this is why it's obviously useful to set up the other one with all the tasks that are possible and then just remove the ones that you don't need from here. Also, what this does is it shows you the due date. It shows you that this is active. So today is actually the 18th, sorry, of May. But as you can see, the 20th of May. So we put in 3 days. So it says it's an active task. So that is now active. It shows up there in yellow. There are no overdue tasks. However, these two were done late, and this one was done on time. So when you get to the date, if you click on this tab, that is today's date. You can just click it on, it's been finished. Let's just say you actually finished it yesterday, but you forgot to fill it in. You can put in the 17th of May. When you click enter, it's going to say the date entered is not today. If correct, please continue. You can just say yes, okay, continue, and it'll override that date. So those ones are then done on time. Those two have been done late. Let's just remove that for now and just show you what's happening. The last and final thing that you can do is obviously at any stage of the project, you can click on the project report and get an up-to-date report. So it tells you the project's still active. It shows you that it's on track. Shows you the project start date, required end date, scheduled end date. Actuals obviously blank because it hasn't finished. These two are blank because it hasn't finished. And that one's blank because it hasn't finished. You've got 25 working days. So far you've used 6 of those working days. Current percentage of the task complete 28, 24% of time. Is the scheduled end date before the required end date? Yes, so that's a tick. So that gives you anything in green or anything in amber is just to keep an eye on. Anything in green is good. If anything comes up in red, that's when you've got a problem. So done on time 1, done late 2, that's the slight warning being in orange. That's just a heads up that you got one active task. There are no overdue tasks, 7 future tasks, 1 excluded task. Current success rate is 50%. So basically, the done on time and active tasks form up half of the total tasks, whether they're done late or overdue, excluding these ones over here. So that just means you've got a 50% success rate on what you've done. As you scroll down, you can see a breakdown of all the different categories: overdue, active, future, late, how many of them you've got of each. So you can see your task category breakdown of the project. As you scroll down a bit further, there's your personnel that you selected for the project. How many have they completed on time? That's obviously green. How many are late? That's red. That's an alarm bell. You've got some late tasks being achieved there. How many have they got active? That's great. Overdue, that would be an issue that would come up in red. Future task is fine. So it just gives a little tick next to them to say this person's failed in those 2 tasks that were late. These ones have so far got a 100% record. As you scroll down, there's just a breakdown of each person and the different colors showing the different types of tasks that they've either achieved or they've got to come or they're busy with. Let me just show you what happens to this sheet once you've finished. So if we were to say, for argument's sake, let's just copy that, and we're going to paste them in here. We're not pasting, we're going to paste values so we don't mess up the formatting. And let's just say that one as well is also exclude. That would now be, hold on, there we go. This would, let's just say we finished this on the 19th of May. That's not today's date, that's fine. So that would be obviously all complete, done, late, done, late, done on time. This would mean that the project's finished. You can see there the task's 100% done. Time, you've still got some time left, so that's all good. Now what happens when you click on the project report, it'll say complete, on track, which means you did it right, project start date, so on and so forth, actual end date. We had working days. We had working days between end date and actual end date. Working days between scheduled date and actual end date. So you can see there we were obviously on target for both of them. Total working days using the project. Percentage overrun, we were 13% under on time. That's good, on target. 100% all ticks. So everything here is green. Anything that's a problem will show up in red in hindsight. So you can print this out and obviously keep a copy for each project. You can see any red is a problem. As you scroll down, there were 2 tasks done late, 2 completed on time, a 50% success rate. So that's all good. And as you scroll down a bit further, you'll be able to see a personnel breakdown. I don't know. There we go. The personnel breakdown of all the different people. On time, late, so on and so forth. They actually ended up not doing any tasks because they were all cancelled. There's a personnel breakdown of each person. So this will be in hindsight a good thing to have for each project. You can go back and review each project and see what happened. How did each person achieve? Did they achieve accordingly? And obviously this is the sheet that you would fill in most of the things as you go along. And this is the setup sheet that you would do hopefully only just once. And the introduction, which obviously the few things to check up. So I'm sure you can see how that will be useful for your business. I trust that it would help you. If you got any, if you like this but you want something a little bit more custom made, please do contact us because we do custom spreadsheets like this. Otherwise, if you think that this will help you, please do go ahead and purchase it. And if you've come across any errors or anything wrong with it or anything that you suggest for us to do as a standard upgrade, please do let us know. But otherwise, we wish you all the best with it. And all the best with your business. Thank you very much. Goodbye.